Good morning, dads. It is June 16th, 2024. This is my 10th Father's Day, and I figured today we could just do Father's Day, and I would share 10 things that I have learned in 10 years of Father's Day on my 10th Father's Day. So let's hang out for Father's Day and chat about it. We are kicking off the day with some mountain biking. Then we're going to come back for a Father's Day breakfast. Then we're gonna go grab some Father's Day donuts. And then we're going to do some Father's Day napping in the afternoon. Then we're going to grill a Father's Day steak dinner. And who knows what else is gonna happen. But right now it's time to load the bikes.
I could be your security. There's no guarantee on anything.
Here we are. Okay, I'll grab your helmet.
And I'll take care.
So we're going to start this off hot here, guys. So the number one helpful thing that I have learned in this journey of fatherhood that's just been a helpful tool for me has been shifting from a definite mindset to a probably mindset. So this really relates to how I make plans now. Before I had kids and in my early days of fatherhood, I would make plans and I'd think, man, I'm definitely going on that vacation. I'm definitely basically doing anything. But a couple of years into fatherhood, I came across the piece of advice of another dad sharing that, now, you make plans, you're probably gonna do them, but it's a probably. So like right now, in October, Becca and I plan to go to Jamaica for my birthday. And right now I'm thinking I'm probably doing that. I don't think I'm for sure doing that. And same, right now I bought this pump for mountain biking. We're about to drive out to the trail. And even now, I'm probably going mountain biking. I will check over there. High five. Let's give this a shot. Leads me to practical tip number 2, which kind of goes with number 1. And that is to buy refundable travel, hotels, airplane tickets. Now I can't afford to buy like the fully refundable ones usually, but I at least buy the thing that gets me credit to that airline or hotel if I cancel. Because man, early on, there was like a couple times I bought the cheapest rate and didn't get any, where it's like no refund at all. And it makes the situation so incredibly tense. Like if your kid is sick or whatever, you got something to do. It adds lots of pressure to it. Buying refundable stuff, or at least stuff where I get a credit, made it like not nearly as stressful. Okay, first time we're Brumley.
Our
There you go,
troubles
dude.
behind.
How'd it go? What's buddy?
I'm hungry.
All right, let's go. Should we go home and eat some sausage and eggs?
North Brumley hike.
Tinned one? Like 1. Yeah.
Are we getting a donut?
Green for the
What do you want?
donut. So the third lesson I learned is you don't really need to be choosy with your friends. Early on in my dad journey, I was really particular about who my friends were gonna be and all of that. But an interesting thing that happens is as your time is less and less your own, you kind of gotta take what you can get a little bit. And I spent a couple years being really picky with my friends, and as a result, I ended up kind of lonely, where over the journey and over time, I've actually learned that being less choosy with my friends and just showing up in relationship to be friends, enjoy time with people in any of the seasons that are happening has made the journey of being a father much more enjoyable over, having friends the way that you did, at least having friends the way that I did in my early 20s, which was people who were perfect fits or matches. All right, so this one's a pretty practical one, but I like nice things. And something that I found really helpful is that when you're buying kids stuff, the more stuff you can buy that are like gender neutral, the better. And then you can pass stuff down and it gets multiple uses. And I find that that is been very helpful. Like Haven right now goes to school with a backpack that's just kind of black and brown. And it's one that I got for Malachi when he was 3 years old, and then Ember used it, and now Haven uses it. And it's just little things like that I find have been kind of like wins for when somebody likes, if you're like me and kind of like nicer things. Buying stuff that you can pass down to the next kids is a very helpful thing. This day is going quick, so this is going to be a double header right here. Okay, so another lesson that I have learned is really how much I can't control things. I really early on in this journey felt like, if I just try hard enough and do the right things and whatever, I can make the baby go to sleep, or I can make the business happen and we can make this much money, or a whole bunch of things. And really, I find so much more peace these days as I recognize actually how limited of control that I have. And so, yeah, I think that I'm trying to think of a good example of that. But just even today, I really didn't want my youngest to take a nap during her room time. She does an hour of room time in the afternoon. In the last couple days, she's fallen asleep and then won't go to bed at night at her bedtime. But the reality is I can't control what she does in that room during room time. And just releasing control. It's like, all right, that's gonna go the way it's gonna go, and we will handle bedtime tonight as it comes, instead of trying to control it all and make everything efficient and most productive. Like that's my default setting, especially early on in fatherhood. And now I think I'm just going with like, hey, they're gonna make choices, I'm gonna make choices, and I really can't control everything. And I found that has been an amazing lesson for me in the last 10 years. All right, this one is like a dad pro tip. So your kids, whether they are 13 or 3 years old, doesn't matter. Even often with your spouse, like even if you're like 30, 90% of fixing a conflict or an upset emotion or any of those sorts of things, a tantrum with your child, 90% of resolving and fixing that situation has nothing to do with whatever it is that they're talking about. 90% of it can be resolved if you simply engage and ask questions to understand what's upsetting them. Doesn't mean what's upsetting them is super, valid or that you're affirming it, but understand it and then communicate that you understand why they're upset. If you can just express and get to the point that you communicate that you can understand what is upsetting them, usually the conflict is able to be worked through and the peace returns to the room, to the home. Man, that's a lesson I learned, and I'm so glad I picked that up. I think that tool up around year 5, and I use it probably every single day.
All right, guys, it is time to clean this amazing grill because we are about to grill on it.
Big shout out to this video sponsor, Subaru Farm Barn Yoga out in Texas. Thank you.
We are looking a little better here.
So another lesson I've learned is that I am actually not a victim in life. Early on in fatherhood, I was overwhelmed. There were a lot of challenges. I mean, in business and running my own business and my marriage with the kids, there was so many challenges. And I just remember feeling like, man, all this stuff is happening to me. And like a little bit of like, woe is me, and just really feeling that way. And then the lesson that I learned was actually that I wasn't a victim, and that I was actually kind of a hero. The opposite of a victim in a story is a hero. And that I was actually somebody who had made choices, and that this family and this was all choices I made. This was my own doing. And in fact, I could make choices to influence and change my situation and my reality. And so I shifted from a victim kind of mindset or belief about myself. And the lesson that I learned was that I'm actually almost like a hero in a story who is making choices, and I get a chance to engage and look at things that are challenging and engage them and transform into a better version of myself.
Okay, can you open the back door for me, please?
No, it's gonna be alright.
All right, guys, the day is getting short, so this is a fast one. See these kids here? A lesson here. These guys, they are not meant to be employees. They are meant to be enjoyed. Don't employ your kids, enjoy your kids. When you have employee kids like this one right here, you just manage them. And that's not fun for anyone. It's not fun for them. It's not fun for you. So what I've found, and early on I realized this, my kid doesn't need a robot that manages them. In fact, a better way to approach them in a day is how can I enjoy my kids? Like today, it's like how can we enjoy them and how can we go bike riding? And so a better way to think about kids, instead of feeling like how do I manage them and get them to do what I want them to do and take up the least amount of space, is the opposite in some ways, which is how do I enjoy these kids? How do I maximize the enjoyment and the fun that we have? So I found that that's been a very helpful lesson for me.
I've got no burdens around you. I don't care who knows I love you. 'Cause I've been so lost without you. And in my darkest times, you got me feeling like life is good, yeah. Life is good, life is good.
So one of the things I've struggled with is I just don't feel like I have enough time to engage my kids or give them everything that I might want to or would in a perfect world. But what I've learned over the last 10 years is that kids really, more than anything, only need about 10 minutes a day of uninterrupted, focused time. That when you do that, like when you give them 10 uninterrupted, no phone, no tech, just conversation, talking with them about whatever they want, somehow it's like this lever goes off in their brain and there's a sense of peace in them and all of that. And that is definitely something that I've picked up. the end of Father's Day, everyone. So the last lesson that I've learned is that I am a good man. Now I know that sounds a little bit funny, but I really struggled early on in my dad journey with feeling like, man, I am not the perfect dad. Like, I wish I was perfect. I'm trying to do all these things right. And you know, when push came to shove, life was hard. I did not make perfect decisions. I hurt people, all of that. I just wasn't living up to my own expectations. And, you know, I've learned that that's true. I'm not the perfect dad. And I imagine you might feel the same way. You aren't the perfect dad either. But what I have learned over the years is that I'm a good man. I have great intentions, I have great actions, and I am working to build something beautiful in my family, and I am working to become a better man. And I know that that's true about the hundreds of dads that I've met around the world, and I know that it's true about you too, that you are a good man. I know that you're not perfect, I know that there is still growth to happen, all of that, but I know on this Father's Day that you are a dad, that you have given your kids so much, that you've given your family so much, and I know that there is more ground to take, there's more progress to be made, more growth to be had, but I know that you're a good man, and I love that about you, that deep down inside of you, you are a good man. And so that is something that I've learned about myself. That's something I've learned about all of the dads that I've met over the years. So happy Father's Day to you, and I'll see